everyone out there in Six Dorans land. It's another edition of our Six Dorans show. I am your host, Jacob Sminted Sanders, and as usual, I am followed by Tan Blitzerama Brelje.
Hello.
And Jamie Selceus Christensen.
Hello.
Even though
pointing, I was like, you're pointing off to the side.
Even though they're not to the right or I was about to say they're not to the right or left of me. They're below me. You know, what's funny is when we did the recording, it's what I used to do is this and then this, even though nobody could see it. It was just something I did by habit.
It's just the habits, so hard to break.
Anyways, MSI was 2 weeks ago. NA made the finals. So your MSI runner-ups start this week. Second best region in the world starts this week. I am sticking to that comment, even though it is false. NA is still a pretty terrible region. I'm not gonna lie. I hated last split so much. I hated NA. Oh my god, could not stand it. I can't wait to not stand it again. I hope they prove me wrong though, because last split was bullshit. So, what's on the agenda for today is we're going to go over the roster swaps that happened. The top teams obviously mostly stayed the same, so there won't be much to cover for them, which means this will be a shorter podcast. Not shorter. This will be a shorter show than what we did in January. But nevertheless, that gives us more room to talk about what we think about these teams, and we're not limited to just, oh, hey, here's the roster, what do we think? We've seen these rosters first split, we've seen how most of these players come together, and even if like one player is throwing in like amazing, just joined 100 Thieves, it's not that huge of a difference, right? Although it could give some hope for teams. So should we kick off with it?
Yeah, let's go, man. All
right, so we're going to go in the way that the standings were last split. So the first thing we're going to touch on is our MSI runner-ups, Team Liquid. I honestly don't got much to say about this team. They surprised an MSI. They upset Invictus Gaming. Granted, Invictus Gaming had a bad day. It was a combination of Invictus Gaming having a bad day and Team Liquid playing at their peak, right? So I think even if Invictus Gaming had been playing well, that would have been a 5-game series, and I don't know who wins the 5th game. Probably Invictus Gaming, but regardless, like Team Liquid pulled it off, right? And then they got stomped in the finals, which I think correctly showed us that it truly was an upset, not that Team Liquid is better than Invictus when they're both having good days. Regardless, Team Liquid is a competitor at Worlds. That's the main takeaway. And they've been dominating NA for the last 3 splits. If you ask me, this exact same roster should be better than they played in Spring Split. I think they learned a lot at MSI. They improved a lot at MSI from going 4-6 to upsetting Invictus. They might drop a game or two here and there, but it's more of just I think they'll do what they did last split. They'll probably set themselves up for the 1st or 2nd seed, and once they know the bye is cleared, they'll probably start experimenting with play styles, and that's where we may see them lose games towards the end of the split like we did last split. But honestly, if this team isn't number 1 or number 2, I will be shocked.
It's your team, Tanner, so I'll let you kind of follow that up.
I mean, I was more than happy, and I think a lot of people were more than happy with their play at MSI. It was really something to watch them beat IG, and I don't see a world where that kind of confidence doesn't help them coming into this next split. No huge roster changes, the only thing I'm kind of think of where they don't get that 1st or 2nd seed is maybe TSM and Cloud9 kind of jacking a little bit more than they did last season. Obviously, we saw a more resurgent TSM towards the latter half of the split, which we'll obviously get into, but I think I like Team Liquid's odds to be the top team again. I really, really liked how Impact was playing as well, and obviously there's this whole meme about playoff Impact and will that actually affect his regular season play, but I think coming off such a hot tournament and considering that they are, tuned up and ready to go, I think they'll more than surpass expectations.
You know what I do love? Sorry if you were to start Celsius. Is 2 days ago, Double Up put out a tweet and he said, "I haven't touched League in 2 weeks since MSI, so we'll see how today goes." And I thought it was funny because Double Lips is normally a really hardworking guy. So part of me was like, well, they made it to the MSI finals. He deserves the break. probably from a loss that he probably took very hard. I understand that most of NA was super happy that Team Liquid made the finals, but Double Lift's, I'm sure the entire team was like this, but I think no one more than Double Lift, maybe Impact, but I'm pretty sure no one more than Double Lift probably hated that loss the most. Because that's just who he is as a person. If he's not winning, he's upset. So, and not upset in a bad way, upset in a good way. Because there are some people who are whiny. I can think of one person in mind, but I've trash talked them so much on the show, I don't need to mention their name. Gilius! Anyway. So.
way to hold back, Sanders.
Sorry, I had a cough, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Jamie, you got anything on this?
I mean, Liquid's gonna continue to be a dominant team in the region. If they do not get a top 2 seed, it will be because other teams are expanding their play styles, and I still think that Team Liquid tends to play towards a singular play style, which, as we saw against G2, who is extremely creative, obviously did not go well against them. However, G2 is a beast of their own, and
I was gonna say G2 is like
I don't think that we have any. I don't think we have anybody in A that we can really say is like the NA version of G2. So that's why I don't think that Team Liquid really has much to worry about. But I do think that the top talent in NA is better than other regions. I think that the gap is closer between the top 3 or 4 teams than in other regions where we saw complete stomps by the people that were representing their regions at MSI. So I would not be surprised if Team Liquid does lose some games and we see a similar standings kind of as we did last split, where the top half still has 4 or 5 losses instead of 1 or 2 losses. So I don't know. Otherwise, I mean, Double Lift is on the team. Double Lift has proven by himself that he is capable of dragging teams to the top, and this team doesn't need drag. So they have a lot of talent elsewhere. I still think that Jensen is a really good pickup for them this year, and Impact has proven that he can also be quite impactful. Haha. But yeah, so if Smithy continues to play like he normally does, he had a little bit of a lull last season, but our last split, where he was actually maybe one of the worst junglers for a stretch of games in the region, but overall he still was plenty fine and will probably continue to be one of the top 3 or 4 junglers in the region. So I have no worries for this team to definitely be a playoff team, potentially even win, their 4th split in a row. So
all right, cool. So our next team here is going to be Team Soda Mid, if you remember that cringy commercial. I always say that.
I assume that has something to do with Dr. Pepper.
You didn't see that commercial? Oh my god!
I'm sure that I did, but I don't remember it.
It was it showed them gaming and it had a narrator saying it had a narrator, and it's like the professional players of TSM come together to form, and then they put all 5 Dr. Peppers in the circle stacked on top of each other, and they were and there was a force coming around the cans, and they were like Team Soda Mid, and they became the Power Rangers. But in
no, never mind. Did not see that.
Oh, I'm
pretty sure that I would have.
I was gonna say that's the kind of thing you remember seeing. That
I gotta send you the commercial then, because it was absolutely cringy, but that's what made it amazing.
Sounds absolutely cringy.
It was actually Mike Young was considered the starter at the time, so Mike Young was the player that was in it, but he never started that split at all. So it's kind of funny how that worked out. Anyway, so for Team Soda Mid, we have our usual stuff where, like, nothing has really changed in the mid lane or the bot lane or the top lane, except at jungle. So Grig was supposed to be the starter in the spring split. However, he was having some wrist issues. They didn't specifically say what kind of issues, but apparently his pain was so much that he couldn't play, and he took a break for 2 months. And after that, Cadian had gelled so well with the team. I agree. That they didn't want to take the starting spot away from Acadian. They thought they were on a roll. We're just going to leave Acadian there. So now this split, they're going to split time between Grig and Acadian, which just tells me is that not that they think Acadian's bad or anything. I think it's that they see something in Grig for their team. And honestly, we've seen teams many times have substitutes. It's something I've been wanting for a long time, ever since Echo Fox was the first team to start experimenting with putting substitutes in. Didn't work that often. Actually, it was Acadian and Grig that were the substitutes in the jungle for Echo Fox. So these two guys are very used to each other, and I don't think either Acadian or Grig will have a problem swapping with each other because they did it before on Echo Fox. Obviously, you're probably going to play the player who's better at times, but if you want a strategy change up, you're going to put in another player, right? When Echo Fox did it, Acadian played more carries, and Grig played more tanks. He also played a really sick Ivern, as weird as that is to say, because who the hell plays a sick Ivern? But Grig does. So, Ivern's not meta right now. He's kind of a trash champion, so I highly doubt they're going to pull Grig out with that. But he's pretty good at Sejuani. What else did he play? I think he played a Maokai jungle with Echo Fox one time. Either way, he plays mostly tanks. So I think if they want to go into a specific composition where they're like, all right, Broken Blade is on a carry, Bjergsen's on a carry, Sven is on like a scaling carry, someone who's not going to dominate early, and Smoothie's on a tank to protect that scaler, they'll say, okay, we need a real tank, putting Grig on the jungle or whatever. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I like this. I always like substitutions. I was a fan of Grig when I saw him on Echo Fox. I liked him on TSM last split. He wasn't amazing, but I thought he was fine. What do you guys think?
I'm very excited for this team. I know that probably doesn't come as a big surprise since I am the resident TSM fan of the show now, not the podcast. But I think that I have a legitimate reason to be excited for this team. One, they finished the second half of last split really, really hot until they got into the finals. Hell, even the first couple games of the finals, obviously, they continued that hot streak. But I guess the flame blew out at the wrong time, and they got reverse swept by Team Liquid. Still, with that, they lost like, I don't know, 4 games total, including playoffs in the second half of the split, which is something to be extremely excited about. On top of that, like you mentioned, I liked Grig last when we saw him last with TSM. I thought that he was actually one of the brighter spots for the team. This is back when they had Haunter before they made the change with Mithy.
They had Haunter and Mithy.
So I thought that the problems that split were elsewhere on the map, not in the jungle position. I thought Grig was actually one of the most consistent players on the team, even though they were struggling really, really hard with that roster. And then obviously, we all kind of liked Acadian last year with the team, but we talked a lot about him throughout the split, and so I really like that they have 2 viable jungle options. I like that they don't overlap each other a ton in playstyle, so they should be able to bring a very large champion pool and skill set to the position. However, the one thing that I'm a little concerned about is the fact that they don't, like, with that being said, the same thing worries me a little bit in that they don't overlap a ton. That means that when you see Grig in there, you know he's playing a tank. When you see Acadian in there,
I mean, Grig played Graves too.
75% of the time with Acadian in there, you're going to see him on an extremely aggressive champion. So I don't know. I hope that it works out for them. I hope if it's if it doesn't look like it's working out early, that they just kind of pick who they think will be better overall with the team and stick with them. Last split, I thought that they made the right choice in sticking with Acadian. It sucks to lose your job to an injury. That happens in all sports. But it's like most teams, when they make the decision to stick with the hot hand instead of going back to the person that was injured, just because they were pretty good too, it usually ends up working out for them. And in this case, I thought it worked out for TSM to stick with Acadian. I thought he gelled really well with the team. I thought that he fit in really well with the team in his play style and with the new pieces that they added too. So I'm also really excited. The last thing on this team is I'm really excited to see how well Broken Blade continues to evolve. I loved watching that kid in his very first split within NA and on TSM, and so I really hope that it continues. He's very exciting to watch, in my opinion, and I hope that continues.
Yeah, so. I'm scared. Especially as a TL fan, this TSM team looks great during playoffs, and it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I think Broken Blade only gets better, like you said. I think the Acadian Grig thing is actually really beneficial to TSM on the grounds that Acadian probably starts 70% of the games, but I'd be lying if I said that there weren't a few times where I was watching Acadian in some of these series, and I think that's the big thing that'll come up is if I'm gonna say when TSM makes it to playoffs again, I think they're gonna want to have Grig available as a sub. Because there were a few times during some of those series where I thought, man, Acaden looks like a goddamn monkey right now. And there's no offense to him, but like he has
I think that's fair.
He's an aggressive player, and that can happen to aggressive players when it's not working for him. So I think having Grig there just to be kind of like the steady hand is a really smart move with TSM. I see them as the second place team this year. And I only say that because, I want to push them down as far as I can away from TL, but I can't do it any farther than second. I think Broken Blade, way too early prediction, but I think Broken Blade's going to be your split MVP. Just based
our first
solely,
hot take.
Yeah, based solely off of the play that he had in the playoffs and just how he finished the season. If he continues that, I think he's your split MVP. But really good team. Obviously, Bjergsen, Sven, Smoothie, they gelled well. Bjergsen's just fantastic. And Sven and Smoothie, I like them. Obviously, I think Sven got way too much, hate for what happened during the finals. And I hope he can move on and have a really good season after this. I hope the best for them. I just hope it's not better than TL.
So I read TSM's roster announcement, right?
Yeah.
And I went to the comments to say, I wonder what TSM fans think of this. And they didn't even comment on the roster movement. So a bunch of them were just bitching about why Sven was still on the roster. And I was like,
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
No offense to TSM fans, but that's actually what I would expect from them. And it's actually more surprising that I didn't expect that. I should have thought about that because it's typical TSM Reddit fans. It's leaked over to Twitter now because Twitter's a way more popular spot for esports. But oh man, I can't believe how high fan expectations are. I get having high expectation. I get wanting your team to win. As a diehard Baltimore fan, I want playoffs every year. And once we get to the playoffs, it's no longer playoffs are good enough. It's no, Super Bowl, right? But at the same time, Lamar Jackson fumbled, I think, 4 times in that game, threw 2 picks in that playoff game, and looked like absolute garbage. And I was calling for John Harbaugh's head because they didn't put Joe Flacco in the game. That was during it. After the game was over and 20 minutes of time on it, I'm like, no, they should have never put Flacco in. They were right to keep Lamar Jackson in. He's a rookie. You got to keep him in. If you're really saying he's going to be the future of the franchise, you got to keep him in, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Was understanding after the fact. So if you were mad at Sven during the series, I get it. But if you're still mad at him now, that's uncalled for.
Yeah. All I have to say is, who the fuck would you put in his place?
Yeah, especially who's
who
available. You want to go grab Piglet
Sven?
from Clutch? He's not playing AD carry right now. You could throw him there.
Please don't.
Good God, who else is it going to be?
I would probably quit being a TSM fan if they picked up Piglet.
There's no reason for the hate. He's still a phenomenal player. He had a resurgent split. Bjergsen had what I would call a resurgent split. Bjergsen went back to being Bjergsen. There's just a lot of hope for this team, and they're gonna finish top 3, right? There's still the triangle of Team Liquid, Cloud9, TSM in my head. The whole Team Liquid beats TSM. No, sorry, TSM beats Team Liquid. Team Liquid beats Cloud9. Cloud9 beats TSM. I know that's not how the playoffs work, but it's the typical triangle we see in the regular season. It's a toss-up for me between all 3 of those teams. So I think this is our second place team.
Out of the series in the playoffs where those 3 teams played each other too, they went to 5 games.
Yeah.
Like there were 2 of them, and they went to 5 games each. So.
I wouldn't be surprised if Cloud9 took second, right? In my head, Team Liquid takes first. If there is a world where TSM and Cloud9 take first, those worlds do exist.
Yeah, one of those worlds is my world because I want it to happen.
I was going to say, in my brain, not my world, but my brain, I don't think that happens, but there's a world where it exists, and who knows. We could all be wrong, and let's say FlyQuest or Echo Fox wins the split. I don't know.
What about Optic?
I'll give them a chance. All right, so the next one that we're going to talk about is Cloud9. They did nothing to their roster.
They added whomever. What is it? As a coach.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of people added coaches, but we haven't gone over that. If you want to, though, so, I mean, they're going to stick with the same Licorice in the top lane, Blabber and Svenskeren in the jungle, Golden Glue Niski in the mid lane, and then Sneaky and Zazal in the bot lane. Rainover became one of the coaches. He joined as a coach.
That's his name.
He's not.
I couldn't think of it.
He's not the head coach, but he's joining as a coach. That might be to improve Blabber, I would imagine, more than anything else, but I don't really know his role per se. They kind of were like, just, hey, he's become one of our coaches, and they didn't get into too many specifics about it. So, again, kind of like what I said with Team Liquid and TSM. I love this roster. Licorice is a baller. Blabber and Svenskeren is a nice duo. I think Svenskeren is better. But, Blabber Svenskeren is a nice duo. Golden Glue Niski, again, a very good duo. Cloud9 made a meme when Niski said that Europe was going to win MSI. Cloud9 immediately responded and said, "You've been benched for Golden Glue." Cloud9's Twitter was very hype about Team Liquid. They changed their logo to Team Liquid's logo. And they changed their name from Cloud9 to Team Liquid's #1 fan base.
Yep.
Yeah, they were pretty supportive. And then after that, they were like, all right, we're going to kick your ass this summer split. They immediately went back after. But
I still loved it.
Oh, yeah, it was great. It's awesome to see our team supporting each other. And then the bot lane is the same, Sneaky Zazal. Sneaky is always performing. This guy never not performs, right? Zazal has turned into a fine support. Golden Glue Niski, love the combo. I actually think I want to see Golden Glue as a starter. It's not going to happen because Niski is usually the more consistent player, but I actually think Golden Glue has a higher ceiling. Like there's a different like Golden Glue has lower lows, but he also has higher highs than Niski, so that's the risk you'd be taking if you play Golden Glue. Is consistency is more of a steady line, and that's what Cloud9 is choosing, and that's totally fine when you have players like Licorice and Sneaky and Svenskeren. Svenskeren had an awesome season last split. He's been awesome ever since he joined Cloud9. Cloud9 has let Svenskeren be Svenskeren. He's been SK Svenskeren the entire time he's been on C9. Awesome. Licorice only ever improving. So, yeah, top 3 roster. I don't think there's much else to say.
There really isn't much to say. I wish I don't wish the same in that I don't think that I want to see Golden Glue be the starter, but I would like to see more of him. I think we're going to see Svenskeren through most of the split unless something drastically changed from last split and he comes out and starts playing absolutely awful. But if that doesn't happen, I don't think we see Blabber. I don't think that he has shown in the games where he has played that he is, changed much, I guess. Like, he's still the high variable player where he just wants to go in, and that's not always the right choice. So,
yeah, you got to run it down mid, man. Come on.
I don't think that we're gonna see much of him, again, unless Svenskeren comes out and plays really, really poorly, which I'm not expecting. But I do wish that we would see more Golden Glue. Like, they actually utilize the roster swap more than they did last split, and I get why they didn't last split because Niski was new to the team, so they probably
were kind of on a roll anyway.
Well, they probably just wanted to keep him gelling with the team and not really mess with that much. So I don't know if it's going to change. I'm not really expecting it to, but I would like to see Golden Glue more. Otherwise, yeah, I expect this team to perform just as well as they did last split. I think Licorice will still be a top player in his position. Sneaky, I think, actually played better than some of his previous splits, especially in the laning phase, which he always gets shit for. I actually thought he was really good. I remember praising him a lot last split, so I think that him and Zazal make a good team, and they'll continue to be really good. So there's no reason to expect them to fall from grace. But I also don't know if they're going to be the number one team either.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much would just echo what you guys said. Looking at this team, no real changes. I think everybody's got. I don't think anyone has a huge what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think anybody's going to improve drastically over the next season. I think all of them are pretty close to how good they're going to be playing. Maybe they'll get a little bit better as the season goes on, which would be great to see. But yeah, I just see them kind of as a top three, probably third exactly, but we'll see.
Yeah, if anybody does improve like that, it's going to probably be Licorice, just because he is still, 3 splits removed from being a rookie.
Licorice or Niski probably has a lot of room to grow as well.
Niski probably could too, yeah. He's been around, I think, longer but he's only played with the team for 1 split, so it's quite possible that he's more comfortable now after having a split under his belt. So yeah, I could see him performing really well too. He played really well last split, so it'd be scary if he got better.
Yeah, right. So 4th place team of last split was FlyQuest. So FlyQuest has actually not necessarily changed their roster, but they brought in another player. So they still got Viper, Centauran, Pobelter, Wild Turtle, and JJ. However, they traded one of their academy players for Wadid. I like that. I like that Wadid's going to be in the support. They did not actually officially announce whether Wadid would be replacing JJ. They just said that he's joining the team. So it means we could have a double swap in the support spot. I imagine what it is going to be for the first couple of weeks is a competition. Who plays better, JJ or Wadid? Who does Wild Turtle gel with better, JJ or Wadid? I imagine for the start of it will be JJ. Could be Wadid. I think Wadid has a higher ceiling, but JJ is also one of those players that's only been around for 2 splits. So, for lack of better words, I guess he's just finished being a rookie last split. He just finished being a rookie. And honestly, he's got a lot of room to grow, right? So if he's as good of a player as FlyQuest maybe thinks he is, maybe you give JJ that opportunity. And if JJ shows well, then Wadid is kept in the academy, which is totally fine. Viper, plenty of room to grow. Last split was his first split. He had some really high highs and really low lows. If he can find some middle ground between those high highs and low lows, or even just lower his make his low lows a bit higher and not so treacherous, they should have a strong. They can have a strong top laner. Pobelter's Pobelter, right? Means what he is. Same Wild Turtle. Wild Turtle is what he is. Santorin had a very cool resurgent split last split. I think it's awesome. I don't know if you guys watched Santorin's drive story that came out in March. It was really cool. He actually was going to give up on playing League of Legends, but Wild Turtle was the one who convinced him to try out for one more split because FlyQuest gave him an opportunity. He turned it down at first, and then Wild Turtle hit him up and said, "No, dude, you should actually do this. I believe in you." And of course, it probably helps that Wild Turtle was an old teammate of Santorin's when they were both on TSM. But I think it's awesome that Wild Turtle comes in to come back. I think it's awesome that he actually had a very good split when he came back. So if we remember when he was on Energy and things like that, it was not good times. So I don't know if that was a one split thing or not. That is a big question I have. However, I've always been a fan of Santorin. I like his play style. I watch junglers a lot when I watch these games, and he's one of the more fun junglers for me to watch. I think he has a weird pathing for jungle, in my opinion, compared to other junglers, but his weird pathing is predictable because he does it every time. So he has a different style of pathing, he just does it every time, which makes it predictable. So, you know, if this team reached its ceiling, I feel like they could make second or third place.
I still think fourth place. I think that is their ceiling.
I don't think that. No, I think there's plenty of room for Viper and JJ to be better.
I'm just looking at the teams ahead of them, and I
that's what's it for me too. Not that it's a bad team. It's just like.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that if Viper reached his ceiling, he could match up with Broken Blade or Impact or Licorice, and that's a very, very heavy compliment because those three top laners are arguably the top three top laners in NA. No one's better than them. But that's because we haven't seen Viper's ceiling. I don't think. I really don't think we have. I think he has plenty of room to grow. There's something about NA top laners and NA junglers. I really think Viper could step it up. Whether he does or not, I don't know. I've got this team finishing fourth or fifth realistically. Like I said, if I feel like their ceiling is second or third, I feel like they could probably take out Cloud9 or TSM or even Liquid. They put up some close games with Liquid in the split. I look forward to FlyQuest versus Liquid again this split because those were really fun to watch. Yeah, I'm gonna have to place them as my fourth place team again. Not because it's the record stage, but it's the inconsistencies of not necessarily I guess Pobelter and Wild Turtle. Like Pobelter and Wild Turtle are on fire sometimes, and other times they're like, okay. So I'm not hitting my desk, by the way. This little thing right here.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
All right. Well, I disagree with you in the fact that I think that this team's ceiling, as I mentioned, is fourth place. I think that they kind of overperformed their skill sets last split.
Says the guy who put them 8th place last split.
I'm pretty sure I was not the only one that had them down.
Tanner put them at 9th.
Yeah, I put them pretty low.
I put them at 5th, and y'all made fun of me.
I do really like the core of this team: Santorin, Pobelter, Wild Turtle. I hope Santorin continues to play as well as he did last split because I think everybody enjoyed seeing him performing as well as he was. It was, I mean, again, he was the only person who wasn't on TSM, Cloud9, or Team Liquid to get one of the top 3, teams of the split, whatever that's called. I forget, but he was on 3rd team, right? And he was the only player that was not on one of the top 3 teams to make it on one of the first 3 teams. Pobelter, though, I think even though he is a really good player, I think we've seen the best that he's got to offer. And unfortunately, I don't see that putting him above any of the top 3 teams, players in that position, at least consistently, I do think that he can outperform any one of them, like
On
on
a
a
given
given
match.
day. But I don't think that we're going to see him dominate those three players the 6 times that he plays against them. That's just not going to happen. Wild Turtle, I think, had a really good split for himself, but he's always been a really good AD carry. It's just if he can keep himself in check. And this last split, I think he did a really good job of that. So I think that, especially if he continues to do that, he will continue to be a top half of the league AD carry. Viper, yeah, as I mentioned before, I think that he's good. I don't see a world where he's going to be better than any of the top 3 top laners. For that reason alone is, well, not alone, but that's a very big reason why I think that FlyQuest's ceiling is 4th place. And then, to be honest, the support change or not change, but like, you know, bringing in Wadid, I don't know. I don't see it as being game changing for them. And I think that support is still one of the weakest parts of this roster. So, I don't know. I could be wrong. Wadid could come in and gel really well, but if I remember correctly from his time over in Europe, he has some glaring weaknesses in his champion pool.
Semifinals at Worlds. I don't know what you want from him.
Yeah, but was it because of him?
I mean, that was the part we criticized most of G2 was Gunnar and Wadid, the fucking Heimerdinger bot lane.
Exactly. So, point taken. Anyway, yeah, no, he had some very glaring weaknesses in his champion pool. I don't think that has changed. JJ, I don't know. Like, I don't see him being a top support in the region either. So I think that will continue to be a weak point of this roster. I probably, just looking at the rest of the teams, I probably would still put them in like a 5-6 position. And because of how well they played last year, I would probably just put them in 5th. Because they proved that they can take games off of the better teams. And until I see otherwise, I guess I have to believe that they're going to be able to do it again. But yeah, I hope that the excitement from this team carries over to this split. That's what I'm hoping for the most.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been huge on Pobelter. And I know he's a great player. I just never have been entirely convinced by him, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the lack of, I don't know, there's just something there that's not clicking for me with Pobelter ever. Wild Turtle's a great player, but I just don't see, like, Santorin, Pobelter, Wild Turtle, I think when you match them up against, like you said, any of the other top 3 teams, I just don't see them edging out any of the other teams with that kind of lineup. And then, Viper, again, you're right. We don't know what Viper could do. Viper could just totally take this team to the moon. And if he does, then more power to him. But I'm just not sold completely on the idea that their ceiling is 3rd as well. I've also got them at 4th because, that all being said, I still think they are a more complete roster than a lot of the other NA. I mean, this is NA, so not the worst, not the hardest thing to do, but I still think that they will be leagues above some of the other teams in this league, and I think 4th is still a pretty accurate place to put them. But yeah. So
Tanner and I have both got FlyQuest at 4th, and Selceus has got them at 5th. Speaking of 5th place, let's go to our. Well, they weren't technically 5th, but I'm going to put them as their 5th team because I think they were better than Echo Fox, Golden Guardians. So they did nothing to their roster. Hunter, Contrast, Spraga, definitely Ole. Same thing. I don't know what to think of this team, honestly. I placed them like 5th or 6th last, probably where I'm putting them again. They didn't actually instill any confidence in me whatsoever last split. I liked the hype train of them coming off from an 0-4 start to go to 5th place. It's pretty cool. But then they teetered off near the end. Like, they were kind of hype, and I was kind of getting me excited, but then they were like the rest of NA and sucked. It was like CLG came up, and then CLG came down. Golden Guardians came up, and they came down. FlyQuest went up, and they kind of like middle ground it to get to 4th place. NA sucks. Someone else take this from me.
Tanner, I'll let you go this time.
Yeah, I get, well, like you said, there wasn't many major roster moves to this team, and I don't see any huge improvements that can be made by each of the individual players, but I think you do got to remember that this was a team that in the playoffs got really close to advancing and then got snuffed out by the FlyQuest team that did eventually, go to move on. So
that was Game 5, wasn't it? That was clown.
So I think this team has some promise, and this is really weird, but I think they are going to end up as 5th. We're going straight down the rankings here, but because again, my biggest issue with this team is that they didn't make any improvements, and so I don't see where they can improve. But I think they'll still be fun to watch and still be a good team, and I still think they're a playoff team because, again, just on paper, that roster should raise hell for a few of these teams, especially enough teams for them to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. Unfortunately, we don't really... I guess we have a couple of teams coming up where there are actual roster changes, but I guess these middle-of-the-pack teams didn't do anything. So, it's hard to expect anything different from them, right? This is one of those teams where they have okay players and okay to good players in all of their spots, right? Hanser, I think, still can be a good top laner, but we've already discussed the talent that's in the teams above them, and especially in the top lane. I think he'll be a middle of the road top laner. Contracts, I don't. He hasn't done anything that consistently impresses me. So I'm not expecting anything great from him. Froggen is still Froggen. He will...
Just a solid player, and that's kind of it.
He will be a solid player. He will be a really good laner. He will make good decisions in the game. Will he be flashy? Will he be a carry for the team? If it goes to 50 minutes, sure. But if you're expecting it to be a 25-minute game, I don't see Froggen being the 10-0-5 player that you see on some of these other teams. And then definitely in LA, this is a bot lane that doesn't provide any excitement for me. So, I guess the fact that they have been together for a long time now, this team really didn't make major changes between their first year in NA to this current year. So I guess there might be something to say for them gelling together. But yeah, I don't know. I said FlyQuest is going to be 5th. I think that Golden Guardians could be either a 4th place team, I guess, or they're going to be your 6th place team. And I'm going to have to figure out which other team is going to pop up into the 4th place team.
You put yourself in a hole, I think.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't like that these teams are, exact replicas of what we saw last split. And I think that in the case of FlyQuest, I think that they overperformed a little bit. And Golden Guardians, I guess I would have to say I think they did the same. And hopefully one of these other teams like Optic or something that didn't really make any changes, hopefully they're going to come in and actually Like, I think they went on a little bit of run at the end of last split, and that was because they have some really good talent that maybe it took a split for them to, like, kind of start gelling together. And so, I don't know, like, that's a team that I could consider potentially putting in fourth place just because, like, I like the individual pieces a little bit better.
So, our sixth place team was Echo Fox. I'll be honest with you. They shouldn't have even been there.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my god. They had, I think going into that last week, they were the least likely team to make the playoffs. And they made the playoffs. This is why we play out the games. Because the odds aren't in your favor, but sometimes the way games play out do go in your favor. They stayed with the same team: Solo, Rush, Phoenix, Paulo, Hakuho, and Panda is the substitute jungler. Like I said, they shouldn't have been there. I stand by that. This is my seventh place team.
Play.
Hakuho, they're good. They're okay. That's what they are. They're okay. They have some high moments, but they are okay. Rush has not been playing like NA Rush from Cloud9, and he's not been playing MVP Rush. There you go. That's the meme. Solo, I've never liked Solo. Moving on. Phoenix, highs and lows.
And last split, I think he had more highs than anybody expected, right? So, like, that's what I was saying. I don't think that he's going to play as well as he did this last split. That will probably be a big, like, that'll probably hurt this team because mid lane is a very important position on the Rift. Solo, I think that he's a middle of the road top laner. Paulo and Hakuho, I will give them that they're good. Like, I'll go the step above okay, and I'll continue to say that they're good. I think that they have been very consistent, and I think that consistency is a big deal for a team. So the problem is that they're only consistently good. They're not consistently great, and it's kind of a rare occasion where you get that, like, great game out of them. So I don't know. This is another team I'm not, like, overly excited about unless Rush comes in and plays like MVP Rush, because that was a lot of fun to watch. But
I lied. This is my eighth place team. My bad.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know where I'm gonna put them. So Tanner, go for it, and I'll think about it for a minute.
Yeah, I think this is pretty cut and dry for me. Similar feelings to the Golden Guardians, except for the fact that I don't see this team as being as good as the results said they were. Like you guys said, so placing them though is a really tough one for me. I don't want to give them. Man, why is I think 8th is actually what my head's telling me as well too. Yeah, I think they get 8th, and I don't think it's just because they have a. I mean, I don't think this is the most talented team, obviously, but they just suffer from being in a league where I think just every other team has a better shot, and the teams in front of them are obviously we have like that powerhouse 3, and I think the teams that made moves or the teams that were just better than them last season will continue to be better than them. And staying still and not making any moves will definitely hurt. So
this bottom half is a shit show. I'm looking at these teams and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Like, I think I might actually have to move FlyQuest and Golden Guardians.
Just based on like how other like teams are just shit. Is that basically what you're thinking?
Well, so I don't know. Maybe it's false hope in a couple of these teams, but I think that, like, I have a little bit more faith in some of these teams that we haven't talked about.
That's fair.
That they're not going to be as bad as they were last split.
I'll take false hope for $500,
Alex. That's fair, man. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna When we get done, can we like kind of go over our standings? But right now,
Sure.
I'm gonna put Echo Fox. I'm gonna put Echo Fox in 8th with you guys. I actually I thought about putting them in 9th. I'm not gonna lie, but
that's pretty low. Okay.
They performed well enough last split that I think you got to have a little bit more faith than 9th place in them. So we'll go with 8th.
Okay. So the 7th place team from last split was Optic Gaming. They didn't do anything. Still Crown, Arrow, Big, Meteos, Dardock combo, and Dokla in the top lane. I still hate that 2 starting LCS players are on the same team. It bothers me so much. Because honestly, Meteos should be starting for a team. He should be. But so should Dardock. I think they need to use Dardock a little bit more than they did last split if it's going to stay this way. Maybe like a 60-40 where you have Meteos at 60 and Dardock at 40. That's probably not going to happen. But I think if this team wants to win, they need to get more creative. And they need to not be so, let's give Ground a carry and let's give Arrow a carry and hope they do Korean stuff. Because, well, A, Korea's been overthrown. I'm just going to say that. B, it's so singular. It's so obvious. It's like when you go to Optic, you're like, all right, we need to play around Crown and Arrow, and we need to hope that Meteos or Dardock doesn't have a monster game. That's it. You gotta hope they don't have a monster game. Because if Dardock or Meteos has a monster game, that's not something you can prepare for, right? Like, they have a monster game, they have a monster game. This is what it is. Yeah, this is my 7th place team.
Yeah,
go for it, Tanner.
I agree. And it's not because it's weird because I feel like there's some potential for this team to do better with Crown and Arrow, and I think they have the potential to have a better split than they did.
You know how often we've said this of Arrow, though.
Yeah, that's true.
How often we've had this hope.
You're right, and it's because of that. Like, their junglers are so much better than everybody else on their team. It's kind of insane.
Oh yeah.
Don't sell Crown short. I think
that's true.
Crown actually played really well last split.
That's fair. Crown needs to have a better split. Arrow needs to have a better split. Crown played well, but he still needs to have a better split. It's like there's too many question marks, and at least for Golden Guardians, I know the bland sandwich I'm getting, and it's still probably better than this one. So, I'm just gonna also put them at 7th as well.
So, in other words, Golden Guardians is your ham and cheese sandwich, but it actually has mustard and mayo.
There's a staple. It's a staple.
Optic doesn't have mustard and mayo.
Yeah, Optic's not trying enough things, but we can go back to Golden Guardians and say, hey, this is the staple sandwich. Anyway, but that's where I'm at. 7th place for Optic.
So I actually think that this team is going to make the playoffs. I think that they're going to be 6th place, and this is where I'm going to have to start doing some shuffling because I picked Golden Guardians to be 6th already. So I think I'm going to move Golden Guardians down.
Oh,
to
that's
7th.
Spicy. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick Golden Guardians 7th. So that means I have 10th, 9th, and 4th still to fill.
Wow, you've got a dark horse for 4th place? Or?
I do. I just I don't know who it is yet.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I'm looking at all these teams that are left, the 3 teams that we have left, and I like the moves that I'm seeing out of some of them. And I also think that it's completely understandable to think that they might play better than how they did last split because the players on these teams I think under.
You know what? Why don't we just get to them?
Let's just get to them.
That. Okay, cool.
Let's do it. You guys talk, and I'm gonna think because my brain's starting to hurt.
Okay, so the 8th place team of last year was CLG. Oh, all right. CLG. They got rid of Darshan, and they're gonna have a competition between Fallen Bandit and Ruin. I don't know how to feel about that, honestly. Moon and Wiggly are still the junglers. Power Beagle's in the mid lane. Otto and Stixay are listed for the AD carry, and Biofrost as support. I'm pretty sure Stixay is just gonna be the starting AD carry. Wiggly will be the starting jungler, and I think it's Ruin that will be the starting top laner.
Tell us how you really feel, old CLG fan.
I feel like there's nowhere for this team to go but up.
Yeah.
But I also feel like they could go down to 9th or 10th. They really could.
The one thing I don't like about this team is their jungler.
You just don't like that where their jungle state is, or
I don't think Wiggly is an answer. Like, I know they didn't change him, but like I wasn't impressed with him last split, and I don't think that he's going to be any better this split. So I don't like that. I do like that they changed Darshan. I think that that's been a long time coming, even though I think Darshan may have gotten a little bit harder of a time than he deserved. Like, I will fully admit that, but I do think that it's been a needed change, and I don't know if Ruin just looked good on Fenerbahce because he was on like the best team in that region, which is not a major region, but I even enjoyed watching him a little bit of MSI. Right, he did play at MSI. That was so long ago now. All of 2 weeks ago.
All of 2 weeks ago.
But yeah, so I don't know. I like that change. And then this is one of those teams where I expect the other 3 players to play better. Like Biofrost, they still have pretty good.
Bio Daddy, you gotta love Biofrost.
Power of Evil, I don't know. This is another like false hope thing, but I have faith in him, even though I don't always like the choices that he makes in like builds and stuff. Like, I get that he's trying to do something a little off meta, but like I don't always like some of the things that he comes up with, and it doesn't really make sense in the professional scene.
You know, he didn't do it that often this last split, actually.
Yeah, but it's still something that you got to keep in the back of your head, because it's something that out of anybody that's on any of these rosters, he's the most likely to do.
He's most likely to do something to try and throw you off.
Yeah. And then Stixay, like, I don't know, he was so good at, like, you know, before last split. You have to think that him and Biofrost together are going to be better. You have to think
he just had a down split and that's it?
I do, but like the thing is that it's also completely likely that it's going to be more of the same. So it's hard to say. I don't know where I would put this team, but I like the top lane change. I still don't really like the coach. I guess like Weldon is a well-known name, and like he's really good at his job, but his job is not coaching.
No,
so having him as the coach is not what I would want to see. So I guess since I have to put them somewhere, I probably will put them 9th, because I do not like their jungle. I don't like the coach. Ruin, when we saw him in EU, was not good, but I do think that the meta favors him a little bit more, and I enjoyed watching him with Fenerbahce, the little bit we got to see. And then I already said what I think about like the rest of them. I think should be better than they are, but it's also just as likely that they're going to play like they did last split. So,
and
we'll keep
exactly
them at the bottom.
What I think. I think that they are not going to do much. I've never been. I was not. I don't know. I guess I've always been sleeping on CLG, and I think last year or last split they gave us a good reason to. I don't see them unless Ruin can just upheave everybody and get them back on the right track. I got to put him somewhere, and putting him 9th with this idea that they're not going to, shake out the the rust or whatever there was that was causing them to fail last season. Seems like it makes enough sense to me. And I don't know, until I'm shown otherwise, I have a hard time thinking that this roster will improve.
And I really want to know who your sixth spot is, and Celceus, I really want to know who your fourth and sixth spot is.
I already have my sixth spot.
Who?
Optic.
Yeah, he moved
I
Optic.
said they're gonna make playoffs.
Right. Oh, you don't have a seventh spot then?
No, I don't have a 10th spot and a 4th spot. We only have 2 teams left.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You put Echo Fox at 8th. Who'd you put at? Oh, you put Golden Guardians at 7th.
Yes.
All right. So our 9th place team was Clutch Gaming. They did make a change though. Cody's son is another AD carry, not Piglet. It's a big upgrade, let me tell you. I thought Piglet was washed up in January. God, I don't know why he was even an AD carry.
I expect Piglet to play jungle for them, like in the second half of this split.
But DeMonte's still the starting. DeMonte's still the starting mid laner. And Piglet has officially switched to mid lane.
So he's backing up DeMonte, or he's
backing up DeMonte. DeMonte's the starter. I think it's an upgraded AD carry, but Lyra and Huni still suck. I'm just gonna say it. They suck. Huni had a downgrade ever since summer split. He fell even further in spring split. He didn't really have any monstrous Huni games except the one Rumble game he got. Like, it wasn't even like you saw glorious moments of Huni. No, it was just bad Huni the entire time, and the one glorious Huni moment was Rumble. And then no one ever let him have Rumble again. And they never picked Rumble ever again when he was open. So, yeah, Lyra, I'm going to call it as, what's it called? A bust. That's what you call him. Lyra's a bust. He had a great season with MBS. It was cool. He saved NVS from being relegated, which allowed Clutch Gaming to exist. Yeah. He hasn't done anything since, and that was 2 years ago. He's a bust. DeMonte's still cool. We always gave some credit to DeMonte. I feel bad for the guy. He's playing well on a bad team. It is what it is. As far as I'm concerned, Cody's son is still toxic until proven otherwise. And Vulcan is Vulcan. So this is a 10th place team, 100%. I swear to God, I don't actually hate Envious or Clutch Gaming. Or I hate Clutch Gaming because of Envious, because I did hate Envious. It's just Clutch is bad. That's just what it is. They're going to be our last place team.
Go for it, Tanner.
Yeah, DeMonte needs to run away from this team as fast as he can, find himself a team that works for him. This is 10th place, absolutely no questions for me. Moving Piglet to mid lane role and bringing in Cody's son, I don't even like you're bringing. I mean, like you said, somebody who's kind of got a reputation for being a little toxic, and you're replacing, Piglet, known toxic man, with Cody's son. So I don't see it doing that much. I see Piglet, I mean, as much as I love the guy, I see him actually trying to jockey for the mid lane starting role if they don't do well to start the season, and who knows what kind of team turmoil shit that could happen. Maybe you're right, maybe he shows up in the jungle. Piglet's a really odd wild card sub, and I don't think it's a good thing.
That'll be my bold prediction.
That's
Piglet
fair.
plays jungle for Clutch Gaming by... How many games do they play?
18, right? So
okay, so by game 14, he's gonna be playing jungle for him.
Interesting. But yeah, I don't like it.
That'll be my bold prediction.
They didn't do enough.
So I liked the idea of Cody's son being picked up because thinking back to him on 100 Thieves, when they did really, really well, like, he was a big reason for them doing really, really well. So I saw that change and I was like, this team intrigued me as well. But then I thought about it a little bit more and it's like, well, out of this team, even though I'm not a huge fan of Piglet, he probably was not the biggest problem on this team. So they're upgrading a less necessary role, and then everybody else is the same. And as Sanders said, I think we've seen the best of Hooney. I think his best days are behind him. Unfortunately, I do not think that the MVP, like the high level Hooney, is coming back. Lyra,
it's so sad to think about. He was an amazing player.
He really was, and it is sad to think about.
He was phenomenal.
Lyra is, like Sanders said again, no. And then Vulcan, like, honestly, if I wasn't looking at the roster right now, I don't know if I could have told you who their support was. Like, I don't remember Vulcan at all. So that tells me all I need to know about the player and this team, when I just said 3 of the 4 roles are pretty much awful. DeMonte plays well, and on top of that, like, he's a likable guy. Like, when he is on the desk or being interviewed, like, he's
pro.
He's like, he seems like the kind of kid that you root for, and it's unfortunate that he's on this team because I don't see this team going anywhere. Like you guys, I definitely think that this is going to be our 10th place team. They will have to surprise me if they end up any higher than that. Should we hit our last team?
Yep.
All right, cool. So 2 of us got this team in the playoffs, actually, which I'm surprised by. I thought I'd be the only one to have them in the playoffs. It's 100 Thieves. We got Someday in the top lane. They changed their jungler to Amazing, which I think is an upgrade over Ronda. They got Soligo in the mid lane. I don't know what to think about this. They've changed their mid lane 3 times now. Maybe mid lane is just a cursed position for them at this point. And they got Bang and Aframu. I refuse to believe Aframu's best days are behind him, and here's why. The last time we said his best days were behind him, he had an MVP split, and he led a brand new organization, i.e. 100 Thieves, to the finals of his
MVP.
Yeah, and he got MVP of the year. He was without a doubt one of the best players in NA that split. He wasn't bad the following summer split either. It was at Worlds. I don't think he performed that well. I think a large part of that was Cody Sun more than Aframu. But
I was going to say, and the turmoil with Cody Sun.
Yeah. And Cody, do you remember when Cody's son ulted the enemy into Aframu? Oh, good times. Wonderful Worlds moment.
Sure do.
Oh, yeah. Fucking awesome, dude. Anyway, I think Aframu has a bounce back, but I don't think he's like a top 3 support bounce back, but I think he bounces back to like the top 5, right? Because I think if anybody was to grade him right now, he would have been around 7th or 8th. I think he's top 5. He's still good. I remember listening to a podcast with Freak and where Freak was guest starring in the dive. And both Zale and Freak talked about the same thing, how like a lot of people are overreacting about Aframu. I think because he didn't perform to his usual top level, there's more focus on him not performing as well. The same thing happened to Bjergsen a year ago when Bjergsen wasn't being Bjergsen. A lot of people were complaining, why isn't Bjergsen solo killing everyone? Why isn't he 3-0? Why isn't he 3-0 by 12 minutes? Why isn't he carrying the game? Why isn't Bjergsen popping off, Well, the matter of the fact is mid lane's gotten way more competitive. The matter of the fact is the bot lane's gotten way more competitive. These things happen, right? You have a player who's really good, and then eventually the next star comes up. I think it was just 2 years ago we were in the NFL. We were tweeting Aaron Rodgers as the best freaking human being in the NFL. We don't think that anymore. We don't even. I mean, he's still like one of the most talented quarterbacks out there, but we don't consider him the end-all, be-all quarterback anymore. Right now, that's Patrick Mahomes. New talent comes up. New things come up. So. That's no disgrace to Tom Brady. I was talking about like athletically. Like Tom Brady's pretty low athletically. Tom Brady might be bottom 10 athletically, actually, despite
if you disagree, go watch his 40.
If you disagree, just watch him run.
He doesn't have to, though. That's the beauty.
Yeah, he's super smart, and that's why he's the best quarterback of all time. But the same thing's happening with Aframu. Better supports have come in, like Zazal, like Ole, like Core JJ. Core JJ was here with Dignitas, then he went to Korea, got better, and then he came back, right? I mean, just people get better over time, and new people come in and with the new out with the old. Now, some of the old players get to stick around, like Afremu, like Double Lift, and luckily, I think Double Lift's been very lucky in the sense that maybe not lucky, just how much of a competitor he is, and that he has stayed the best player at his position in NA throughout the entirety of his career, and probably the best player in NA. That title can maybe be to Bjergsen at times, but Double Lift is definitely up there. And Afremu has always been up there, but I think because support Smoothie, there's another one, Smoothie and Biofrost. These players used to not exist when Afremu existed. Afremu was the cream of the crop. Now he's not anymore. These things happen. He's not as bad as everyone thinks, is my point in all this. And I think he goes back to being top 5. Maybe not top 3, but at least top 5. And Bang was Bang. Bang was good. He wasn't bad. So this is my 6th place team. I got them making playoffs. I don't think they're going to make any noise in the playoffs. They probably get bounced in the quarterfinals, but hell, anything's better than the 10th place placement they had last
split. The 10th place disaster that was them last split after all of the hype that apparently I've bought into again because I have them as my 4th place team. This is a little bit by default, obviously. Like, I have everybody else in their spots, and I've given my reasons for that, and so it's kind of like they just slide in there, but I don't think that it's out of bounds to think it. I really like the amazing pickup. And it's not necessarily because of how, like, I don't think that amazing is necessarily the best jungler in the world, but he tends to bring success along with him.
He's an upgrade over Onda.
It's definitely an upgrade over Onda, but he tends to bring success with him. Who knows, this split that could run out, just like the whole Rush meme where he won't lose 2 games in a week. That meme lasted for, I don't know, the first 4 weeks, and then it pretty much disappeared, and ultimately was the reason why Rush was no longer playing with them for a while until the end of the split, and then he came back and looked really good. But Amazing tends to come in and he tends to do well, and the fact that he is, like, there shouldn't be a lot of time to get used to him, right? Like, he's going to come in and speak English right away, so there shouldn't be any language barrier. He's already a well-established jungler, so he should be able to communicate his playstyle well with the team. I guess it's just a matter of whether or not it meshes with the team. But I think that it will, and I think that it's definitely an upgrade over Onda. Now, the one role where I have any concern with this team is mid lane, and I think that if they are going to be the 4th place team, they are going to have to hide some of the downfalls in the mid lane. Like, the rest of the lanes, the rest of the players are going to have to play well enough to make up for some of the lack of talent in Saligo, because we did get to see him a little bit at the end of last split. It wasn't overly impressive. Who knows? Could have been some jitters because he was new to the stage. He also had, who knows how much he had actually played with the team, and I think that, you know, the fact that he's already the known starter, he's getting lots of practice time with this team. And then on top of that, I think the biggest reason why I have faith in this team is they have come into this league and shown their willingness to just dive in, right? Like, out of all of the new teams that joined the league with what's the word I'm looking for? Thank you, franchising. This team came in and did it like they went
better than anyone could have imagined.
They went the most
first split.
Well, they went the most all in, right? Like, they have not slowed down. They have been trying to make the changes necessary to keep the success that they had in their very first split. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked. However, I think that they have the type of people on this roster that are extremely prideful and are going to be working their butts off this offseason after the disaster that was last split to make sure that a 10th place never happens again. And I think that they could come in and really live up to some of the expectations that we had for them last split. It's just I don't think that they're going to, no matter how much they improve, I don't think that they're going to be better than our top 3 teams, because I think we all have them as like a separate tier above any of the other teams in the league.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't see a world where Bang doesn't make the playoffs this year. Bang played really well last season, and god damn it, it's fucking Bang. Like, he needs to get there, right? Like, this team needs to play better so he can succeed. Because I honestly thought that if just any other players on that team did as, even as much as Bang was doing, or just a little bit more, they would have been fine. But it just nothing ever seemed to click, nothing ever seemed to gel. So it would just seem insane to think that happens again this year. I like the amazing pickup as well. I think just any kind of new blood in the jungle was a good thing for them. I think Sunday's still a really good player. I think Bang and Aframu this year will have definitely a much better season than they did. And then Soligo, maybe just being able to start fresh with this season brings some new things. I've got him 6th because, again, this is a talented lineup on paper, and they have to improve. They have to. Like, this isn't like a pipe dream. I don't think. This is, and like
it's
a
reasonable ask.
Yeah. Like they have, I would be stunned if they don't improve by some measure. And I think it'll be enough to get them 6th place. So that's what I'm thinking.
All right, cool. So Tanner and I have the same top 6 teams. We have Team Liquid, Cloud9, TSM, FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, 100 Thieves, whereas Jamie Selceus over here has Team Liquid, Cloud9, TSM, FlyQuest, 100 Thieves, and Optic Gaming. So I guess we only differ on Golden Guardians and Optic. I don't think that's terrible. And then the rest of the bottom tier teams are teams I could care less about. Sad to say, but that's just how NA is at the moment. I hope it changes. All right, so we ready to get into our predictions, boys, for week 1?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a nice game for the first one. I think we're going to sweep on this one, but we got a nice game for the first game. It's on Saturday at 2:00 West Coast time, Pacific. Obviously, Mountain's 3:00, Central's 4:00, and so on and so forth. Cloud9 versus FlyQuest. I'm going first. Cloud9 starts with the win here. I like the FlyQuest team. I think they're going to be 4th place. But honestly, unless FlyQuest reaches their ceiling, like I said, they could. I don't think they will, but they could. It starts with beating Cloud9. Don't think it's going to happen. Viper would have to really surprise me and beat Licorice. And like I said, Pobelter's Pobelter. And I think Santorin would just have to become a dominant jungler for me to be surprised here. And I don't think either of those things happen. So Cloud9.
Yeah. I think that since we just went over our rankings for the teams, we're going to have a pretty good idea of how most of us are going to be picking. And I also am going to go C9. One thing that I didn't say about FlyQuest that I'll add right here is I think that FlyQuest could be the creative NA team that I know
without doubt.
They just seem like the type of team that is gonna go into this split and do whatever they can, and also not be scared of trying stuff, which we saw a little bit with. I'm pretty sure Wild Turtle played some stuff bot lane like Yasuo and that sort of thing. So, and Pobelter did get back into playing some more aggressive champions with this team. So I like that about them.
The champion pool is bigger on this team, yeah.
I think that we could see a G2 light, like extra light.
I like it. Extra light. Like wait, G2 non-alcoholic.
Yeah.
The 2%, the 2% beer that doesn't exist anymore.
Right. So, but I think that they could. That like, I guess if they are like that and they are successful at that, then I could also say that I will admit right now that I'm probably wrong with my pick because I would have higher expectations for them.
Yeah, that's fair. I think C9 wins this game for sure. Opening day doesn't. I don't know. Fly, I think if they are going to be good, it's going to take them a while to get going a little bit, especially with Viper and especially considering who they have to play first. So, yeah, I'll give it to C9.
All right, Sanders, I'm going to just go out on a limb and say that you're the only one we don't know who you're picking in this game.
That's fair.
Like, definitively no.
Okay, so Selceus is picking TSM and Tanner's picking Team Liquid for the next game, which is Team Liquid versus TSM.
Yes.
All right, we got that out of the way. I was going to say this is all a tough choice, but I knew Tanner was going to pick TL. I knew Jamie was going to pick TSM. I'm stuck because I don't have bias here. It's not like, I mean, like you both carry your biases because you're picking your teams. I'm going to say that, but neither of you are like unjustified. You went 3-2 in the finals. It was super close. I don't think there's a wrong choice here. Right. But as someone who doesn't have any fandom involved in here, this is very hard.
I completely get that, and I'm glad that I'm biased right now.
I feel like the logical thing to do is just go with the MSI runner-up. I feel like that's the logical thing to do. I will be honest and say I don't think TSM would have beaten Victus Gaming. I don't actually think that. I think Liquid, when Team Liquid is at their highest, I think they're the best NA team, right? And that's what they did was they played at their highest at the time. When TSM plays at their highest, they go punch for punch with Team Liquid, which is what we saw at the finals. The funny thing is that Team SM actually had Game 5 in their hands, but it was altered by Zen. I don't want to say it was thrown by Zen. It was altered by Zen.
It was a mistake, and like that shit happens. So
well, most people are saying that's what threw the game. I don't think that's what threw the game. Now Sven thinks that. I don't think that's what threw the game. As I argued in our show a couple of weeks ago, I think that's what altered the finals. But what really turned around the finals was Jensen's performance with LeBlanc at the Elder Drake. That's what ended the game. I believe was Jensen's performance, not so much Sven's mistake. Sven's mistake was an opportunity for Team Liquid, and Team Liquid was able to take it. Some teams throw away opportunities. Team Liquid does not. They're very good at punishing mistakes.
Right.
I'm going with Team Liquid. I don't like it. I'm not gonna lie. But if I'm with TSM, I wouldn't like it either. So it's kind of a coin toss. I'm gonna go with the MSI runner-up by default.
I'm gonna say this because I don't know if it'll apply after week 1, but TSM still has a better record against TL, even though they lost the finals.
Yeah,
4-3.
TSM is 4-3 against Team Liquid. That is a fact. So, all right.
Alrighty.
The next one is CLG versus 100 Thieves. I got 100 Thieves, no question. I'm moving on.
Same.
Yeah. I'm going 100 Thieves as well.
The claw back to glory begins with this game.
Yeah.
It better start with this game.
FYI, if CLG comes out and looks like CLG last split and beats 100 Thieves, I will know pretty much right there that my prediction is fucked.
Hey, we got the cream of the crap here. We got Optic Gaming versus Clutch Gaming. Clutch Gaming doesn't have the top side of the map. Optic Gaming.
I'm also going Optic Gaming. I picked them to make the playoffs, and I think that in order for them to do that, they can't be losing to the team that I predicted to be 10th.
I picked CG too many times last year on memes, and that's not going to happen again. It's Optic.
All right, cool. So the last one is Golden Guardians versus Echo Fox. I'm actually very tempted to pick Echo Fox here, simply because I feel like this is just a game that Golden Guardians would throw away immediately. But the better team, supposedly on paper, is Optic. Sorry, Golden Guardians. Wow. So, yeah, give me the Golden State Warriors beating the Rick Fox Lakers.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a game that probably will have like 10 viewers.
Hey, people still like Froggen.
People will already have tuned out. The viewers will be Froggen's mom, grandma.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
I don't know. You got Froggen and Rush here. There's a couple players here to watch.
But I guess I'm going with Golden Guardians. I picked them, I think, one spot ahead of Echo Fox. So
yeah,
I don't have any better analysis than that.
No, that's fair. I think Golden Guardians just was the better team last year. No solid changes made, so Golden Guardians will remain the better team.
I'm going to go ahead and say we sweep the next game.
Yes.
I have a feeling we sweep the next 5 games. Cloud9 versus CG, we're all picking Cloud9. The game after that is FlyQuest versus Golden Guardians. I will be surprised if we don't all pick FlyQuest here. Maybe Jamie tells me something different, but I'm pretty sure Tanner and I have FlyQuest here.
I'm a stubborn bitch. I still like Golden Guardians against FlyQuest as like a matchup, and okay. I will continue to pick Golden Guardians in that matchup until proven otherwise. This could be the game that proves me otherwise, but
you've been proven otherwise 4 times.
4. Yeah, this is the one.
It did go to 5 games.
This is the one at 5 games. 5 games. This is.
I think that actually, because so they went 1-1 in the regular season, right? They had to play a tiebreaker. Who won that?
FlyQuest won.
FlyQuest, and then FlyQuest won the
2-1 and then
series.
3-2. Okay, so they're 5-3. FlyQuest is 5-3 against Guardians. They've proven you wrong 5 times. Never mind, not 4 or 5.
Oh, okay, but I haven't been. They haven't lost like all
they
of
were
them.
All close
they didn't
games,
lose all of them. So like, I don't know. I'm gonna pick Golden Guardians here because I'm stubborn.
Never mind then. I guess I'm the only one picking.
I was also going to pick Golden Guardians, but that was strictly because I didn't see Tanner going the Golden Guardians route, and I felt like we needed one difference. Now that he has gone Golden Guardians, I think I'm gonna pick FlyQuest. But I do think that this is a coin flip. I don't think that it's as easy of a decision as you were kind of making it out to be.
I think it's pretty easy, honestly.
Well, when Golden Guardians wins,
I'll take Pole Melter over Froggen. I'll take Wild Turtle over Deathly. I'll take Santorin over Contracts. Like, this isn't a hard debate for me.
But they went 1-1 in the regular season last split. So.
Wrong. They went 2-1.
No.
FlyQuest beat them 3-2. As far as I'm concerned, they have a 5-3 record against Guardians.
Fair enough. I went with them too, but I will not be surprised if Golden Guardians wins. So
the next one is, I'm pretty sure, a sweep. Team Liquid versus Fox. We're all picking Team Liquid here. Yeah, we're all picking the horse. The horse is going to stamp on the Fox. Cool. The next one is TSM versus CLG. This is not a classic rivalry anymore, which is so sad. Oh my god, I remember how
they will. I promise they will talk about it though, as if it was.
Oh yeah, they'll try to hype it up, and then
I don't think they'll talk about it as a classic rivalry. I think they're going to talk about it as TSM was on this massive win streak over CLG. I think it's like a year and a half now or something like that.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Like, it is ridiculous. It's not a year, like it's like 3 years or like something ridiculous. It's like 1,800 days or something like crazy, which is like 5 years.
Yeah.
I don't think it could be that because it was just 2 years ago that we.
Nope, you're wrong.
No, I'm wrong. No, you'd be correct. They haven't lost in over 1,000 days in February.
Well.
So what would that be now? See, from February to
2.5 years.
No, I'm thinking February to now.
Or no, 3.5, like 3.
It would be about 1,100 days. Holy shit! Oh my god. Anyway, well, I'm
gonna go with picking TSM.
TSM. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. TSM.
I mean, CLG is my 9th place team anyway, and TSM is my top 3. Conventional wisdom tells me TSM. Last one is 100 Thieves versus Optic. I got 100 Thieves winning this game. I got 100 Thieves starting 2-0. Oh my god. No. That's not good. I got 100 Thieves starting 2-0, I guess.
Okay, so this is like I said every week I like to like pick an upset, right? I don't know if I'm going to do that this week, but if I had to, I guess this would be the one because I do think that Optic is going to be better than they were last split, and I guess if it would not surprise me after what we saw from 100 Thieves last split that they come out and like shit the bed again. But I also just said that I have hope in 100 Thieves not doing that. So I feel like I need to pick 100 Thieves. Do you hear the dilemma in my head, though? I'm going to just go with 100 Thieves because
I say
that's
go
how
with
I predicted it.
Yeah.
That's how I predicted it, like, to end in the standings.
Yeah.
So that's
what the thing is, do we think 100 Thieves will start 2-0?
Or, well, do we think 100 Thieves or Optic is starting 2-0? Because we all picked both of these teams to win their first game.
Right.
Tanner's like, shit.
Yeah, all right. I think a world where 100 Thieves goes 2-0 is more likely than a world where Optic goes 2-0.
100 Thieves competition is Optic and CLG. I think it's realistic.
If they don't get off to a good start against this, then they're in trouble. That's for sure.
You know what's going to happen? They're going to go 0-2, and then Game 3 is versus Liquid, and they beat Liquid.
That would be something.
that also could happen. We don't know.
That's the type of bullshit that happens in NA. That's why I said it.
Oh, man. Now that we've gone through our picks, though, for those that do watch the video or listen to the video, I will be trying to stay on top of putting these picks in Discord like we did last split. I really enjoyed seeing the participation, so I hope that it continues. After we get done recording tonight, I will try to go and just throw them in Discord for you guys to vote on. The games start when, Sanders? Is it Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
So
2:00.
So if I get them in tonight, you guys will have a day or two to vote, depending on when you see the video. Otherwise, we'll get to this in the outro, but join our Discord so you don't have to necessarily see the video to know that the pick'ems are up, because every time I put them in, I will put a message, an everyone message in just like the LOL esports channel saying that the pick'ems are ready for you to go vote on. So you won't have to necessarily see the announcement in the video.
All right, cool means. Is that it?
I think that's it, man.
That's about it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it from us. You can find us on Twitter at 6Dorans. Finally made it a Reddit account for us, so I'm going to start when Tanner uploads the next video. I'm going to be putting the links into Reddit, so maybe we'll get some more viewers from there. If you're brand new and you found the link on Reddit, join us on our Discord at 6Dorans. We like to have a community there. We usually talk some shit. Other times we have rational discussions. That's kind of funny. Rational, huh? Sometimes we have rational discussions. Sometimes we have strong opinions. Always love to have more people in there. We are very interactive in our Discord. It's not like we just have it and we ignore it and let other people talk about it. We actually like to be involved. So hit us up there. Tell us how well we're doing. Tell us how bad we're doing. Tell me why my opinions suck. Tell me why Tanner and Selceus. Tell me why Tanner and Jamie are better than I am. Whatever. You can put whatever.
I mean,
you
that's
want
just obvious.
Hey,
I know.
that's. I'm gonna abstain from that.
But anyway, the link to the Discord should be in the description of the video or on our Twitter. So, like, if you do need a way to find us, that is the best way. That is the best way probably to get a hold of all of us. I would probably say for you guys as well. But yeah, definitely come join us. We do have a small community of people that like have conversations in there. We'd always enjoy having more. Like Sanders said, let us know if you have any suggestions for something that we could do better. Also, we do play the game. Some of us may not have played much of it lately, myself. But there are other people in the Discord that definitely do play the game, and you might be able to even find a duo partner or something. So,
all right. Well, that'll be it from us. So, from Jamie, Selceus, Christensen, the one below me, and the one below him, Tanner, Blitzerama, Brelje. I am Jacob Sminted Sanders, and we will see you all on the Rift and for our first weekend of esports.
Yay, it's back.